All right, everyone, we are back. We had a wonderful first run by Juhorse, and although we escaped from the house, there's still plenty more horror for the rest of the night. This next game is going to bring us to a wonderful world of Detention, where we have a woman trying to escape a school. To help us, we're going to have a Brogano.
Hi.
All right, would you guys like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, happy Halloween. I'm O'Brogano, you can just call me Brogan. I'm a horror streamer and occasional speedrunner. Kyo?
All right, my name is Kyoto Hunter. I'm a casual horror runner, and every once in a while I speedrun as well, but mostly not.
Okay.
Yep, feel free to take it away. We're going to be counting on you to lead our way through Detention.
Okay, right, so Detention is a Taiwanese horror game by Red Candle Games. It's a truly beautiful game, and I'm really excited to be playing it today. So the time is going to start. Are you ready? The timer will start when I press the O. Ready? 3,
Yep.
2, 1. Let's go. All right, so this is it's a point and click horror game, and there's going to be a lot of clicking. So if your hand is prone to cramping like mine is, good luck. That's all I'm going to say. So from the get-go, we're going to be introduced to a couple of main players. This gentleman here is Wei. That's our teacher, Miss Yin. And in a second, we're going to meet a gentleman called Instructor Bai. Now, he's going to come in and he's going to ask Miss Yin, have you seen this list before? That is referring to a book list, which will come into play a little bit later. Excuse me. So, Kyo, if you want to talk a little bit about when this is set and bit of backstory?
Oh yeah. So this game is set in Taiwan in the 1960s when they were under a period of martial law. So I believe that means, so that's why the book list, when it's coming in, it's kind of important to what was going on during that time where political dissension was kind of not tolerated very much and could be, you could be punished with as much as imprisonment or even death. So this book list will come into play quite a bit throughout the course of the story.
Right, so Wei is going to wake up after a nice little nap, and he's also going to notice that it's raining, even though it's not typhoon season, which already starts off as this is a little bit strange. So in a second, if he wants to get up out of his seat.
A lot of clicking in the beginning.
A lot of clicking, yeah. A lot of clicking, a lot of spamming through text. But we're going to do our best to try and give you an abridged version of the story. So first we're going to leave the classroom, and we are going to go immediately to the right and down the stairs.
Now, you said this was a point-and-click game. Is there any tech involved in this one like you would find in some point-and-clicks like Clock Tower on Super Nintendo? Or is it pretty straightforward, play the game as fast as you can?
Pretty much, yeah. It's just a lot of click here, be very precise in where you're clicking, have your mouse ready to where it needs to be. So right now we're in the storage room, and it's a little bit dark in here, so we're going to turn the light on, and that will enable us to pick up the hand crank.
So the main thing with the gameplay is using a lot of inventory management to solve puzzles, not unlike a Clock Tower style game. Is there any combat or anything in this game though?
Not combat as such, but there will be a lot of sneaking past enemies and holding your breath. That'll come into play in a little bit when we meet our first enemy, but for now we're just clicking. We're just clicking.
Yeah.
All right, so right now we're
the
going out.
prologue is pretty straightforward. Oh, no, go ahead.
Right now we're just heading down to the auditorium. Again, it is raining and it is not typhoon season. Very strange.
And one thing that's good to notice during the prologue too, just the art style for this game is absolutely fantastic.
It really is. It's one of the reasons why I fell in love with this game. I played it for the first time at the beginning of the game, and immediately I was like, yep, this is it.
I'm personally not very big on indie horror too much, but this was one I picked up on a whim once, and I just absolutely fell in love with it as well.
All right, so as we come into the auditorium, you're going to notice that there is a girl asleep on the stage. She is very important to this story, but for now, we're not actually going to speak to her. We're going to go straight over to this room on the left.
It would be rude to wake her up.
Exactly.
She is napping.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this umbrella. Which, it's typhoon season. Sorry, it's not typhoon season.
Yeah, we're going to need that.
Yeah, and we're also going to investigate this vent right here. Going to use the umbrella to find out whatever this is. Okay, and it's a necklace.
Ooh.
Very pretty necklace, actually. Right, so now we have the necklace, we can go back into the auditorium, and we're going to speak to the girl on the desk, sorry, on the stage. We're gonna wake her up.
Now, is she gonna be anyone important?
She is.
No, you said maybe.
She's very important to this story. So right now she's very confused. She doesn't know how she got here. And we need to make sure to talk to her twice, and she's going to let us know that her necklace is missing. If you try and give her her necklace straight away, she won't take it. Oh, sorry. But now that
Did you get the double one this
now that
time?
we know that she's missing it, she'll take it, and she's very grateful that you found it for her.
So you might have noticed that the game is being ran in Korean. Brogan, do you speak Korean at all, or is there any reason that it
No,
is
I
being run in
don't.
Korean?
Korean actually scrolls a lot faster than any of the other languages. If you run this game in Korean, you can actually save about 5 minutes off your time, which is what we like in speedrunning.
I know it's not uncommon to see a lot of, especially horror games in general, being ran in Japanese, but for some reason, when Korean's added to them, it tends to be one of the faster languages. Even English really isn't that slow, is it?
I believe English is actually the second fastest, which I was quite surprised to hear.
It
Yeah,
really
so right
is.
now
It's
we're
usually the
trying
slowest
to
one.
leave the school. We're going to reach this point, and now we're going to realize, something's a little bit strange. The bridge is gone, and there's a river of blood.
I mean, that's fairly normal.
Yeah,
don't you think?
completely normal.
It just reminds me of Siren, which is
Oh,
the
please don't
last
talk
thing I
about
want to
that
think
game.
of.
So actually at this point, Wei does say it could be the chemicals from the factory upstream, but his blood.
That'd be quite red chemical-wise.
There's
So
always a
would you say
logical
he's-
experience.
Would you say he's going the wrong way?
Oh, here we go, right.
Were you trying to beat us to the puns? I can't believe it.
Right, so right now they're going to have a nice little chat, and this is where we find out that this character right here, her name is Ray. So we have Wei and we have Ray.
Are they classmates, or are they just at the same school?
I believe Ray is actually in the year above Wei, but I could be wrong on that.
And I do believe they're in high school then, correct?
Yeah, they are high school students.
It's been a long time since I've seen the game. I did play it, like, I think shortly after it came out, but it's been a while.
All right, so Wei is now going to go leave to try and make an emergency call, and, well, that's not going to go very well.
It's a little spooky.
Very spooky. And that is the last time that we play as Wei. But now we get a very, very cool intro sequence. After I spam through this text.
It's a lot of clicking. How's your hand doing?
A lot of clicking. It's not too bad at the moment. Give it about 5 minutes.
You're gonna have RSI by the end of this.
I really do love this intro sequence, though.
Oh wow, we're back at the.
Yeah. So Wei's dead. He's just hanging out. You didn't have to laugh at that one. It was terrible. But thank you.
It was a pity laugh. It was a pity laugh. I haven't
Oh,
heard
well,
it a bunch of
thank you.
times already.
So of course
seems
she's very
okay.
confused. Yeah, she's a little confused. I mean, he was fine a second ago, and now all of a sudden he's dead and hanging upside down above her.
I would be more concerned with the fact she keeps falling asleep and waking up in the exact same place.
Yeah, it's a little strange. Right, so we've also picked up Wei's notebook. That's going to come in handy very soon. But first we're going to run to the left and we're going to pick up this candle so we can see where we're going.
Is there any information in his notebook? By any chance, are there like any waypoints that we need to know about that we can go to?
Oh, boo. Boo. All right, so as we come outside, we're going to go all the way to the left and we're going to see an altar. Now, on this altar, we're going to pick up a key, and we're also going to get a little bit of information about the first enemies in this game. All right, so there's your key.
So you said there's no combat in the game, so what do we do with these enemies? Which I guess...
will show you now.
So
this
my
is... enemy is called the Lingered, and you have to hold your breath and walk past them. But the one good thing about the Lingered is that when Ray is running, she's faster than them. So as soon as you get past, you can run.
It is nice that you are faster than them. Oh god, the animations for that, I can't get over them.
Very spooky.
So how many enemy types are there total? We've seen one. Did you say there was about
I think
2 or
there's
3?
2 or 3, yeah. Right, so once we get to this side, we can use the key on the door. She'll automatically use it, and we can go. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way to the left and we're going to go up the stairs and find ourselves another brown door.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Now, do we have to worry about much in the way of enemies throughout the school, or are they kind of in instance points only? Like, is there any kind of like RNG to the enemies?
There will be some enemies patrolling around the certain corridors. The good thing about these enemies, though, is that if you were to go into a room and then leave, it will reset their position, which we will be using later. Well, hopefully not, actually. All right, so in the sink, we're going to pick up some pliers. And then we're also going to see my favorite cutscene.
What goes on during this cutscene normally?
Well, she's just giving herself a little talk, and then she asks herself, have you forgotten, or are you just too afraid to remember? Very deep. And we're also going to pick up a dice from this sink. We're going to need 3 of these to unlock a gate a little bit later.
Wonder if they had any symbolism.
What? Symbolism in this game?
Can't imagine it would.
No, of course not. Oh, missed the door. That's fine. All right, so if you go through this door, you can actually bypass this enemy and come out the other side.
If you want, you could take a more direct approach, right?
Yeah, you can. It's a little bit quicker to just go into the classroom, though. Right, so we're going to use the pliers on this gate. And we're going to go on through. Now
when it comes to, like...
Excuse me.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, it's fine.
I would say, so when it comes to, as far as speedruns, was there any reason you picked this one up?
Honestly, just because I love the game so much. It's such a beautiful game, and I just wanted another excuse to play it. Right, so what we did just there was we turned the light switch on and we saw that there was a shadow of a key. So now that Ray knew that key was there, we were able to pick it up. And now we leave, we're going to put some food down for the enemy, because they are very hungry.
I just want to mention the chat is currently filled with way puns.
Oh, brilliant. Love it.
They beat us to it.
Oh. There we go.
You were just not on the right pixel there, I guess. It's really important tech to learn. Pixel hunting.
Exactly. All right, so now we've got our second dice, and I'm also going to pick up the paint thinner. We're going to use this on the door downstairs to remove some talismans. All right, so we go back through the nurse's office.
Can you keep picking up the distraction item there, the food, if you need it?
You can, but we're not going to need it ever again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I can hear slightly the enemies making some weird noise in the background.
Yeah, there is an enemy to the right. Luckily, we don't need to go that way. So we're going to go back downstairs, and we're going to go towards the door with the talismans, but we are going to deal with an enemy here. Hopefully, the enemy will cooperate.
This is the trickiest enemy, isn't it?
Sometimes they like to glitch forward, so yeah.
This is our biggest boss fight right here, the hardest one.
Well, that and a rotary
Will they
later.
glitch?
And now we're past, we can run.
Hey, you got it. During practice,
also, as
except
well,
for
they
like
don't chase
one run.
super very long, which is very handy.
Wasn't during practice, except for like the one run, they got the glitch forward every single time.
Yeah. All right, so now we're in here. We're going to pick up a knife off this desk.
Hello, come in handy.
And we're also going to go into this side room here. All right, in this bucket, we're going to get our third dice. And now we have all 3, we can interact with this bowl on the table. We're going to throw the dice. And what? There are teeth now.
Oh, wow.
What?
Spooky.
How spooky. But there's also a code on here, 623. Now, we're going to be using this for a gate downstairs, but we don't have everything we need just yet. So what we also need is we're going to pick up this bowl. And then we're going to go pay Way a visit. Just to, check on him, see how he's doing.
How's it hanging, Way?
No, boo.
Trying to find a way to repurpose the puns. Come on.
Oh, terrible. All right, so we're going to go back into the auditorium. And we are going to do something that some might say is way out of line.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha, hilarious. Right, so we're going to cut his throat. Why, you ask? So we can fill the bowl up with his blood.
He must have done something to make Ray mad because she's out for blood.
Oh, she really is.
So what would we need a bowl of blood for?
Well,
I can't imagine any situation where you will need this.
Well, when you don't have crayons or you don't have a pencil, you can use blood to actually get markings off a desk.
I mean, it is free. You have to buy pens and crayons, and
Exactly.
you can just, you know.
Exactly. So we're
This is a
going to go back
naturally
up to the
occurring
top
resource.
floor. And if we go into this classroom here, we're going to go inspect Way's desk.
With all this blood everywhere, you think she failed at this a couple times.
Right, so there are markings on the desk. We're going to pour some blood. And then we're also going to use Way's notebook, and we should get some imprints to help us figure out the code for the gates.
You know, at least back when I was in school, we would just put, like, you know, the paper down and take a pencil and do this. But I mean, I guess this works just as well.
Exactly. Well, it has to be spooky. It has to be spooky.
True. Pencils are not
Right.
spooky.
All right, so now we go back down to the bottom floor to the gate. Normally, if this was a casual playthrough, you'd be using that code and markings to figure out what the door, like the symbols you need to press. Oh, she almost got me that time. To open the gate, but because we are speedrunning and we like to do things fast, I'm going to press the first dial twice, the second dial 6 times, and then we're just going to spam. We can get past her. She can chase us now. That's fine.
Oh, truly, we are blessed on this run today. Both times we got by it.
The game is being kind to me. Right, so we're going to press this twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're just going to spam. Voila. So we are reaching close to the end of chapter 1, which is pretty nice.
I think that puzzle's really straightforward. Like each one, it goes like one and just rotates through, correct?
Yeah.
I think I sat there during my casual playthrough and like tried to write down like, okay, this one has to be 1, 2. I thought they were out of order because that made far more sense than what would be actually the easiest answer.
That's the thing. In this game, the puzzles, they're not super challenging, but they're challenging enough that you feel like you're a little bit smart when you manage to do them. All right,
A
so
lot of
this
the
door
puzzles
is
seem
locked,
meaningful as well.
and we're going to be chased by another enemy. Now, normally when it comes to enemies, you usually have to hold your breath, but with this guy, you just want to run.
Now remember, this enemy actually had a really interesting name. What was it?
Big boy.
Big boy. Big boy.
Yes, this
I think
is
that's
Big
the
Boy.
technical term. And he is made out of a, he's a hulking mass of human parts in a body bag, I believe.
I believe so, yeah. It's very cool
really
enemy design, though.
Be
Right, and then we're
a
going
great
to run in
Halloween
here.
costume.
And we're safe. Huzzah. Right, so now that we're safe, we're going to pick up this paper on the desk. And this is actually part of a counselling record.
Wonder what that
And now
could
we
be.
just need to click on a few things. So we're going to click on the door. We're going to click on the bin and pick up a picture. And we're also going to click on the mirror and give ourselves a little pep talk. And now it's
Okay.
time for bed and the end of chapter 1.
I was just about to ask, are we still in chapter 1 or are we moving on to chapter 2?
Well, we're moving on to chapter 2 now.
Just getting a little ahead of myself here.
I just love the idea of giving yourself a pep talk and then going to bed.
You got this. You
Good
can
chat,
sleep
man.
throughout
Good
the
chat.
night.
Right, nighttime.
Like immediately giving up after the pep talk.
Right, so this is the beginning of chapter 2, and yet again, Ray is waking up in a chair. Really can't be good for your back.
At least when I was a student, it would have been nice to like fall asleep and just wake up already at school and instead of having to get ready every day.
Oh, that'd be
I'm gonna
great,
figure out how
yeah.
she does this.
Right, so we're just going to run all the way to the right into this building.
Is this interesting? Like just from the chapter 1 to chapter 2, the backdrop or just like the school itself has changed quite a bit visually, if you can see. It's a
Yeah,
lot more
definitely.
rusty and run down.
And a lot more interesting aspects, especially in the basement, which is where we are headed now. Very spooky basement.
Not a good place to be during a typhoon.
Probably not, no. So if you just run all the way to the end, we're going to pick up a stack of dollar bills.
You think those guys are okay?
They're fine, they're fine. They're just chilling.
They're fine.
Living their best life. You know how it is.
The detention surely got bumped up from the last chapter.
God. Right, so now we have money. We're going to go all the way up to the top floor, and we need some incense.
Oh, that was spooky.
Yeah. That's the thing with this game. It's a lot of moving between a lot of floors. So a lot of the time, if you're directionally challenged like I am, it's very easy to get lost. So, you know, there's no shame in having some notes. Not that I'm totally using notes right now.
Who would ever do
Of course
such a
not.
thing?
Exactly, exactly.
It is nice that each floor looks fairly different to each other, so it's not like a lot of games where you have that everything looks the same. This game kind of breaks it up a little bit, like at least with the thematics
Yeah,
of
you
each
can
level.
definitely differentiate between the areas, which is nice. All right, so we're going to ignore that door, and we're going over to this second one here. And we're going to pick up the incense.
Movie time.
Mm-hmm.
They showing anything good?
Something on Disney, I'm sure. Now, also, once we leave this room, we are going to be introduced to our next enemy.
And this one also had a very technical name too. What was it?
This is the Lantern Spectre. Though I find that every time I say it, it sounds like I'm saying Lantern Spectre. So he's Lantern Boy for today.
I'm not gonna lie, I figured you're just gonna call him Big Boy again.
So this is Tall Boy.
This is Tall Boy. But they're actually, they're very easy to avoid. Stand still, hold your breath, look away, and just wait for him to pass.
Yeah, it's
But
kind
if
of like
he
the
grabs
booze in
you, he
Mario.
is an instant kill, so you want to be very careful not to start running too early. Not
I believe
that
with the
I've ever lost a
exception
run
of
to him.
with the exception of the schoolgirl lingered, all of them are insta kills, right?
Yes.
I think you can get
But
hit
with
once
the
or
linger
twice
from
by
chapter
those.
1, yeah, they'll hit you a couple of times, but these guys are instant kill.
Is there
Okay,
any
so what you
type
want to
of,
do is you want to stick the incense in here and spam, 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 spam.
Is there any type of like healing items for yourself in the event that you get hit by one of the earlier ones, or you just have to run away and wait a second?
You just run away and you will heal yourself. You don't actually have to have any healing items. Right, so we put that incense in, unlock this gate, and we now have one of the 2 keys that we need. This one is a sword, and we're going to be grabbing the next one in this room just here. Right, so once you're in this room, you want to run all the way to the left over to the furnace. And remember that stack of money that we picked up? We're going to burn it.
But I need that.
Too bad.
That was our cut
It's
for the
going in
day.
the fire. It's going in the fire. Goodbye.
Buy money.
Yeah, goodbye.
If you are looking to burn some money today, this game's actually on sale on Steam right now.
It is indeed. Definitely worth picking up. Right, so now we have the second key. We have a sword and a fan. Also, these puppets can kill you. Hold your breath. I think on my first playthrough of this game, I died about 3 times here.
About the same with me. I was like, how do I get through this? What could I possibly do? I kept trying to dodge roll or crouch. You don't have those options in this game.
No. Yeah, you have just about enough breath to get through there, so you kind of want to time it so you're holding your breath just as you get into the puppets. Right, now if we run all the way to the right, we can go to the big double doors that we just got the keys for.
It's giving me such shades of like old point and click games where the tech is pixel perfect movement and things like that.
Yeah. Right, so if we interact with the door, we're going to give a fan to the guy on the right and the sword to the guy on the left. Now, if you're a bit confused as to who has what, just look at the direction that the fan and the sword are facing. It's pretty easy to figure out.
It's a very hard puzzle, to be honest. I mean,
It's
come
very
on.
difficult,
Don't
actually,
downplay
yeah.
it.
You need a very big brain. Right, so now we're going to go into this little office here. We're going to walk past the phone of doom. We don't like that phone, it's cruel.
That
And we're
phone's
going to pick up a
mean.
key from this cabinet. Now, this is a key for the rooftop, but we're not going there just yet.
Based on how nothing else is locked, I don't even know why they have keys lying around. It's not like they're using them.
Well, because we have to be able to pick something up.
They can't go to the
And
roof. They can go into
reasons.
every single administration room. It's fine. It's fine.
Right, so we're just going to be running all the way to the left. Sometimes a lantern boy can spawn in here. But more often than not, he doesn't.
Is this another room where he can spawn in? Or was this the room you're
I
referring
believe
to?
so. I think there is a guy who will spawn in here. There is very, very small, like a very small amount of RNG when it comes to the enemies. But sometimes you can get very lucky. Like so.
Looks like we truly are blessed today.
We really are. Right, so we're going to go through this big O. Right, we're going past this puppet show. We will return here a little bit
Really
later,
cool
but for
design on
now
there.
we're going to go and pick up a fire mixtape from this tree. Because, you know, everyone likes to store their mixtapes in trees.
Now you know, Brogan, this is an 8-track, not a cassette, right?
Yes, I
Do you remember 8 tracks?
No, actually, surprisingly, I don't.
So do you know anything about them? They're actually they're like cassettes, but they have 8 tracks on them. And they're usually
Interesting,
AC/DC
interesting.
albums.
Yes, this is also an educational run. You're welcome.
Yeah, my dad used to spend his entire summers saving up to buy one AC/DC 8-track. He has told me so many
Wow.
times. So now you have to know too.
Brilliant. All right, so we're going to use the roof key. And surprisingly, we're going to go up to the roof. And also, ooh, spooky Ghost Ray. But she doesn't like us very much. She's going to run away from us. Bye, Ray.
Ooh, the rain's really coming down.
Oh, God. You said you weren't going to say that one. All right, so up here we just picked up some film for a projector. We're just going to go down one floor and into the first door that we see.
Are those not doors? I was like,
No.
those are the doors there.
All right, so if you pop the film on the projector. Now, normally in a casual playthrough, you would leave this room and you'd go to a room on the right, and on the screen would be some numbers projected, which we need to phone. But because this is a speed run and we have knowledge, we already know what number we have to call, so we can just head straight downstairs and back to that office.
Do you mind doubling back? I would really like to watch a movie right now.
Maybe later.
I think that's one of the few puzzles in the game where you don't actually have to see the solution. You just have to do the puzzle beforehand,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, normally with this game, Ray needs to know what she's doing. It doesn't matter if the player knows, Ray needs to know. But just for this one, she doesn't.
For like a casual playthrough, I always find that really nice, but kind of for a speedrun, I'm like, I already know the answer. Just let me go. Just let me do it.
It does, however, mean that you get to see more of the environment in the run, which is always nice. Right, this is my least favorite part of the entire speedrun, is trying to get this rotary phone to cooperate. So the number that we're going to call is, be kind to me phone, 0 2 5 1 2 1. And it didn't work. Let's try again. Let's try again. 0 2 5 1 2. Come on, there we go. First try.
Hey,
first try.
we got it. First try. If you don't give up, it's
Yeah.
still first try.
Exactly. This phone, it just doesn't like you using it. So right now, someone on the phone just said, Miss Fang, thank you for your service. Your country appreciates it.
Wonder what that could be. Is that symbolism
Yeah.
too?
That'll come into play in a little bit.
Hey, look who it is. It's Big Boy.
But he just wants to come in and use the phone, but Ray's decided to be selfish and she's locked the door.
I think she knocked him
'Cause
off
she's one of
AOL by picking up
those.
the receiver.
Right, he gives up pretty quickly. It can't have been an important phone call. Now we're going to leave this room, and what are we going to do, Kyo?
Pick up the puppet.
We're going to pick up this puppet that I don't miss quite regularly.
Never,
He's very
never.
easy to miss, and a lot of the time you'll get the second puppet and you'll realize, oh, wait a second, I'm supposed to have two.
Just thinking about that like rotary phone thing, they really should have made it so that you just had to click on the number instead of having to drag it, because with the point and click mechanics, it's really not that easy to do that.
It's an absolute pain, but hey ho. Right, so this light just went off. We want to turn it back on because dark is scary. So I'm just going to spam it a couple times, click around, just wait for something to happen.
It's a really intricate puzzle right here.
It really is. Any minute now. There we go. And spooky. Now, we don't have to worry about this lantern boy. We can just run straight to the left.
Do you think
gonna
Big
click on
Boy and
his
Tall Boy
radio.
hang out?
Probably. They look like besties. So we're going to pop the tape in here. So the 8-track. And we're going to change it to channel 4. And we're going to hear a really nice tune. We're then going to go to the room on the right where there's a piano. And what you need to do is you need to play the same tune on the piano that's being played on the radio right now. If you're like me and you're not very good at piano, you can assign numbers to the keys. So that would make it 1 2 1 5 5 4 3 2 1.
It's like the Silent Hill 1 piano puzzle, but not nearly as obtuse.
So 1 2 1 5 5 4 3 2 1.
Do you have to do that in a specific time or just in order?
No, I just do it out of habit.
That was a nice
Right, so now we're going to pick
Evangelion
up our
reference.
second puppet for the puppet show. And hey, it's the hand thing.
That's what my hands look like after speedrunning sometimes.
Oh, yeah. That's what your hands will look like after speedrunning this game.
Well, hey, make sure to practice proper hand care, stretches, all that.
Everyone do your hand stretches, except for Brogan.
Right, so now we're going to go back out to the garden. Hopefully we won't encounter any enemies on the way. And we're going to go put on a nice little puppet show. That wasn't a way pun, actually. But now that you've said it, yes, it was. Alright, so now let's put on a nice little puppet show.
Love the design of this thing.
Yeah, right, so we're going to put the police officer on the right and the little fella on the left. If you're a bit confused as to what side they go, look at which way his gun is pointed. Okay, and now we've got a key for the basement.
Ooh.
So we're going to head, you guessed it, back down to the basement.
Now, is there any way to make her run faster, or is that just her normal speed?
This is as fast as she goes.
There's what, this walking speed and then the stealth walking speed with her mouth covered, right?
Yeah, pretty much. She's taken a leaf out of Fatal Frame's book where you're running, but you're not actually running.
Who do you think would win in a race, her or I don't know, Mayu from Fatal Frame?
Oh,
or would be
God.
Too close to call?
I don't know, but that would be the longest race in existence. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop the key onto the door. Head on through. And in a second, we're going to see a very important little cutscene. Now, if you don't read Korean, you're not going to have any idea what's going on, so I'll explain it a little bit. So as you can see, we've got Wei and we've got Ray. And Ray's actually thanking Wei for giving her a book list that she asked for. And he's saying, keep it secret, keep it to yourself. It's very sensitive material on this. She says, yeah, of course, that's fine. And she's also asking about the relationship between Miss Yin, her teacher, and Mr. Chang, who is the school counselor. We will be meeting Mr. Chang very soon.
This is the same book list from earlier that was referenced,
yes,
correct?
Yes, it is.
Ooh.
This book list is very important to the story. So we're going to pick up the book list. And what? It's a gun? Symbolism. Ooh, spicy. All right, so now she's just going to take a nice little walk.
Now, we don't get to use that for combat at all, right? Unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not. But we will be using it in a second. Oh, I walked right past the door. Apologies.
It'd be like that.
Right, so as we get to the end of this corridor, we're going to see Miss Yin tied up to a chair, but that's not her in a reflection. That looks an awful lot like the puppet from the puppet show. Now, a little bit later on in the run, we're going to find out exactly who this person is. But right now, she's saying to Miss Yin, it's all your fault. This is all because of you. And there's the gun.
I think you mean the book list.
Sorry, apologies, yes. Any minute now. Come on, Ray.
I gotta think about it. A lot just happened in front of her.
She's a little bit confused, I'm sure, as everyone else is. And as we leave this area, I think this next scene here, it's a really nice scene. We're going to be speaking to this big statue. I'm going to be asking it some life questions. Right, so I'm just going to spam through a lot of chat. So what she's doing right now is she's going to be asking 3 questions. She's going to be asking about love, her future prospects, and her family. And then she's not going to get any good answers. They're all going to be pretty bad. But she is also going to start to question whether it's because of her that she's getting these bad answers. Because perhaps actions have consequences. I'm not entirely sure, but...
So does this have any bearing on the outcome of the story, or is it pretty much set every single time?
It's set every single time. The only thing that is going to affect the ending you get is in the final chapter.
So how many endings are there for the game?
There are 2 endings. There is the bad ending, which is the ending we are going to be getting today, and then there's also the true ending, which takes a little bit longer, but it sort of just gives you a little bit more information. And
bit
really
more
closes
closure.
things off. Yeah, a bit more closure.
I wouldn't
And
really even say
now-
that the true ending's really a happy ending either, is it?
Oh, no, no, no. There are no happy endings in Detention. So right now we're starting off in Chapter 3, which is actually my personal favourite chapter. Chapter 3 is basically just one big puzzle revolving around a radio.
And are
it's
there any
really
enemies or
interesting.
anything during this time?
Sorry?
Are there any enemies or encounters during this time like before?
No, there are now going to be no enemies. There are only enemies in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Right, so we're going to change this to Radio 1, as I call it, which is 89. And we're going to immediately leave the room. And we're going to meet Ray's parents. Yeah, they're not very happy. Her mum's not very happy, and he looks a little bit indifferent. But we're going to be learning a lot more about Ray's home life in this chapter. But first, we're going to turn off this light, and we're going to investigate these pictures. Now, these are relevant for a puzzle a little bit later, but for now, what we want to do is we want to pick up this glass of glowing eye goop.
What flavor do you think that is? Strawberry, cherry, passion fruit?
Sadness, maybe.
Sadness. The sad Kool-Aid.
Right, so I think
How
this
does
scene...
sadness taste?
Oh, bitter. Very, very bitter. Right, I don't think that scene really needs any explanation.
You get Radio Disney on this?
No, we cannot. Alright, so now we're changing to Radio 2 or Radio 94. And we are going to pour the glowing eye goop into a puddle.
Is this important? Do you have to do it?
This is very important. You do have to do this. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to the end of the corridor and we're going to turn the light off, and that's going to show us the path. Unfortunately, you can't just go through the doors if you know which ones you have to go through. You can't just go through them because Ray needs to know where she's going. So you have to do the eye goop.
That's pretty much with the exception of like a couple instances in the game. She has to see what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, one of my favorite scenes is coming up, I think, soon, right? Visually.
It depends on which one is your favorite scene.
that's very very specific. I just said.
Yeah.
No, like the visual design for this chapter is really, really cool. It changes up so much.
You get some really beautiful moments as well. Excuse me. Again, there's our parents. They're really not happy. So if you remember, there was lines on those puzzles. They are in reference to these clocks. So you want 6:45 and 1 o'clock. Now, you don't have to be super specific, which is very handy if your hand is cramping like mine is. But that is now going to unlock a door back in Radio 1. Also, this room's subtle.
A lot of subtlety here.
Oh, very, very subtle.
I
in this
can't. I
room.
actually have no idea what this is referring to.
I feel like it's implying something, but I'm not quite sure what
I think
it
her
is.
dad just really likes the color red. That's all it could be, right?
Maybe. Right, so we're going to head back to the radio room. And we're going to change it back to Radio 1. So back to 89. And now if we go back to the room which had the portraits in, the door on the left should now be unlocked. And we're going to start to see a little bit more colour in this game.
Yeah, nice and vapor
Very
wavy.
nice. Yeah, very interesting.
This isn't the
But now we
exact
are
scene I was
finally-
talking
oh, sorry.
about, but I was saying this
Yeah,
isn't
now
the
we're
exact scene I
finally
was talking
meeting
about,
Mr. Chang. That looks like a banana, by the way. I don't care what anyone says, that looks like he's holding a banana.
but ooh, banana.
Yeah. But this is the famous Mr. Chang that we've been hearing so much about. He is the school
much.
counsellor, and right now they're discussing her poor home life, and he's also saying that perhaps they should take a stroll down the boulevard on the weekends.
It's not worrying.
I will just,
It's not worrying at all.
remind you that he is a adult counsellor and she is a schoolgirl. But that's neither here nor there. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick up this paper plane off the desk and make our way back.
We get to throw that anywhere?
No, you're going to keep it forever. It's a
I was really
treasured
hoping
memory, Kyo.
There's no side quest where you have to do like a paper plane race.
No, unfortunately not. But if you pick up this paper on the table, we now have a new radio station, 103 FM. And no, it is not Disney before you ask.
Stop
Alright, so what we're
cutting
going to
out
do
all my
now is
lines.
we're going to go to the new radio station. and just keep on walking through. But first we have this mirror puzzle. So you want to turn off the switches for 1, 3, 4, and 6. There's 3, 4, 4, there we go, and 6. This one is always tricky. Hey, nice.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how you knew, but I think it's when you turn them off, you see someone else instead of her, right? Like if it's the correct one.
Honestly, it's been so long since I've played this casually that a lot of the time I know why I'm doing stuff, but I don't know why.
Like how you found it out.
Exactly, yeah. It's been so long.
That's a hard time.
Also,
with,
we're
like,
gonna rob a coin from this jacket. We'll give it back later, maybe. Probably not. So now we have this coin again. We're just gonna head right back to the radio. To my favorite little thing in this game.
Before you even
You
ask,
know what I'm gonna say.
Do not even ask.
So back on Radio 1, we're going to click on the most adorable piggy bank in existence. I want one. Kyo, buy me one.
What are you going to put in it?
I've already told you. I'm putting buttons in it.
Why would you? It's
money.
a piggy bank. Then why do you need a piggy bank?
Shh. Don't question me. Right, now we're back to Radio 2, and because this world is upside down, the piggy bank is broken, but now we have a
You'll
cinema
just break
ticket.
It'd be just like this game. You'll break it the first day you have it.
I know. Right, now we have the cinema ticket. We can go back to 103.
I do remember being very confused on how to do all the back and forth. Like, it's really simple looking at it now, but just trying to figure out which radio station I needed to go to, I think was fairly confusing at first.
Yeah, it's fun figuring it all out, though. Also,
Here
this
it
room is
is.
amazing. This is
my
amazing.
favorite room in the game.
Very, very nice visuals in
Get
this
out your
in this
kazoos,
room.
everyone.
All right, so we're going to give the cinema ticket to the ticket booth, and we are ready for our date. What? I didn't say date. Who said date?
With Wei, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm. And now we can. I can give my hand a nice little break because I can't skip anything through this cutscene. Yeah, so they met up on the weekend. They thought, oh, it'd be nice to go to cinema. They are sitting a little bit close, but it's fine. Sure, it's fine.
There's no one else in the theater. They could have spread out a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll beat Kyo to the punch. Are they watching a Disney movie?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we're just going to pretend that didn't happen.
And she's
he's
back
gone.
in the chair.
Back to reality. This is also where we find out that Mr. Chang was the one who gave us that necklace that she treasures so much.
Is that a deer or a moose?
It's a jade deer, I believe.
Okay. Why would it be a moose? I don't know why I even thought that.
I don't know. I mean, a moose could be romantic, I guess. Maybe.
If you're from like the northern United States, it might be like really romantic. But he gave me a moose.
Wow. Right, so yet again, we're going back to the radio. But before we change the station, you must pick up this assignment book. Now that we have the assignment book, we're going to go back to Radio 2.
I just want to point out the music in this game is fantastic. It really nails the atmosphere and the time period.
Yeah, to be fair, everything about this game is fantastic. Honestly, I can't recommend it enough. You will not regret it if you buy this.
Like, it's not the most deep in terms of gameplay, but as far as story and thematics and visuals, it's just...
And it has enough gameplay to it that it's not just a walking sim. Not that there's anything wrong with walking sims, but you feel like you're you feel like you're actually doing something.
Also, there are spooky skeletons for Halloween. Hope you guys enjoyed them.
Yeah, happy Halloween, guys. All right, so we're going to give this assignment book to Mr. Chang. But he's not going to be as warm to us as he once was. He's going to be a little bit short. Kind of fobs her off a little bit. And she's not going to understand why. But we'll find out why very soon. But again, it's just a lot of spamming and clicking.
Very technical things. Very technical.
Yeah, very, very technical.
Is there a mouse you recommend for such a point-and-click game? Like a really nice
one that has
gaming
a
one, like a
button on
Razer
it.
mouse?
One that
you
has
need
a
two
button
buttons
on
or
it,
just
yeah.
one?
Oh, you only need one button for this game, to be fair. Yeah.
So actually, wild question. Why don't you use like a tablet?
Because I don't know. I like to torture myself, that's why. Clearly.
That's fair.
Right, so now we've picked up the counselor record from his desk. We're going to head back to the radio, but we're not actually going to use the radio this time because the door next to it is now open. And now we're going to get some nice poetry that if you don't read Korean, you are not going to have any idea what it says. So I'll give you a little rough idea. If we start walking towards this mirror and ready the plane, we can drop it straight on Ray. So this little poem here, she's talking about the bad relationship between her parents and how they've grown apart. And I don't think they like each other very much anymore. She has a very hard home life. Then we're going to start walking towards the window and we're going to give her the pendant. Now, this poem, she's talking about how happy she is and how comfortable and in love she is with the counsellor. Again, inappropriate, but...
Did you say the pendant's her little ray of sunshine?
Mm-hmm. And lastly, we're going to give the counsellor records to Ray on the bed. And now she's talking about how he's basically ended things with her and how heartbroken she is. And in a second, you're going to find out why. We're going to peek through this door. And we're going to overhear a conversation between Miss Yin and Mr. Chang. So Miss Yin is saying, you know, she's a child, she's a student. He's trying to defend the relationship, and she's saying there's too much at stake. Too much at stake meaning the book club, the very secret book club. So Ray overhears this, and she is not very happy with Miss Yin. And that is the end of chapter 3.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Now we get a very cool little cutscene, a little bit of symbolism. It's a little bit on the nose here. Like, there's a nice pair of hands. You know, it'd be a shame if there was some blood on them.
While we have a moment, I'd like to give a shout out to like any members of the community or anyone in particular. I figure right now is probably a good time.
Sorry?
While we have a moment, would you like to give a shout out to anyone in particular? Feel free to take a moment if you need to.
Just shout out to all the other runners of this game. I believe it was... I'm really
I
sorry.
saw Isofreeze in chat.
Yeah, Isofreeze, hi. He's another great runner of this game. Anyone who runs this game is just awesome, myself included.
Does Duo run this game?
No. Yeah,
Duo does
actually,
run
yes.
this game.
Right.
Yeah, you're a mod for this game, I believe.
He was the last one, yeah.
Nice. Right, so this is now the start of chapter 4, and we're going to see this older gentleman quite a lot. I'll tell you who he is in a little bit, but for now we'll just call him Old Man.
I remember. Do you remember the time skip for this one, when it was?
Sorry. A sip of water. Right, so Ray's going to do something that she hasn't done all run. She's going to wake up in a chair again. Always waking up in a chair. I don't know how her back survives it.
How did she miss everyone painting behind her?
I know, she's a heavy sleeper, she really is. All right, so we're going to go down these stairs and we're going to go into this room. And we are going to speak to Shadow Ray.
She's really transparent about her sleeping habits.
Oh, boo. Right, so we're going to talk to Ray, and she's going to say, I am you, yet you are not me. And she's also going to ask you what you fear most. And I want to pick the wrong answers. So I'm going to pick losing family. ... It's the wrong answer, but that is what we want. If you pick the correct answers, Shadow Ray will say a line or two, and that means you're going to lose a little bit of time.
And this is where you start making the decisions for which ending you have, correct?
Yeah, every choice you make in this final chapter will affect which ending you get, depending on the answers that you give when you speak to Shadow Ray. There are going to be 4 questions asked, and we want to get the wrong answer for all of them. But first we're going to go into this classroom, and we're going to speak to Light Ray. And she's basically going to say to you that I'm your shadow and I will follow you. Sorry, Kyo, I cut you off then.
Oh, sorry. There's like a slight delay, so I talk over you a little bit. If you want to get the true ending, you have to pick just some of the right answers, or they all have to be correct?
You have to pick all 4 right answers, and I believe you also have to pick up a couple documents as well.
Okay. It's been a while. I remember I did both within the same time period, like one after another, but I can't remember if I just like redid this chapter or if I just replayed the game. It's not that long, really, even casually. I think it's maybe 3 to 4 hours.
A blind casual playthrough, you can get through this game in about 3 hours. And I would recommend multiple playthroughs. Not only because you learn a little bit more about the story with the two different endings, but just because it's such a beautiful game. Like, it's just nice to experience. That's why I like running it, because it's a nice, relaxed run, and like it's just such a gorgeous game.
I mean, runs like this too, where they're like point and click, there's not really a whole lot of tech to them or any really. It's a really good way to just get into speed running if you're even just, remotely interested
It's
in
really
it.
beginner friendly, this run. All right, so we're going to talk to Shadow Ray again. And she's basically going to say that you were a really good student, but then people started to scrutinize you. And what did you decide to do? I decided to turn a blind eye. ... We got the wrong answer. No, I actually didn't explain that puzzle as I was doing it. The shadow will follow you to the end of the room. So what you want to do is you want to loop back round, down the stairs and up, so the shadow remains on that side. But what's happening in this cutscene right here, this is Wei, if you remember, and this is another member of the book club. So right now they're trying to burn all of the books and hide all of the evidence because somebody ratted out book club. So if you want to explain a little bit why the book club is a secret?
I might have touched on it earlier in the run, I can't remember, but this was set during in Taiwan during the 1960s when they were under martial law. So any political ideal that was not in favor by those who are in power was be punishable by imprisonment, death, or otherwise. So the books, I believe, during this time were about communism or other political ideologies, and they were just banned. So if you were caught with them, it would affect you and potentially even your family. So they had to destroy all evidence because they were someone had gotten wind of their club.
I wonder who. Right, so right now at book club, Miss Yin is basically really reinforcing the first two rules of book club. Rule 1, you don't talk about book club. Rule 2, you don't talk about book club. And
Really
she's
easy to
also
remember.
asking Wei, do you have the book list? The very infamous book list. If you remember a little bit earlier on in the game, he actually gave that book list to Ray. So we'll find out if that was actually a good idea or not.
I'm really surprised they chose to burn those books so close to school. Wouldn't you have taken them somewhere where maybe they weren't near book club to burn them?
Because reasons, Kyo, reasons. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to follow this older gentleman. And this older gentleman is actually older Wei. So
Whoa,
you could say
no
that
way.
he is showing us the way. Oh, come on.
Well, you
deserve at
talked
least a
over my
chuckle
pun,
for
so
that
I'm
one.
upset.
I'm not even sorry. Right, so right now we're in the bathroom and someone has barricaded this with a broomstick, and there's also a sign on the door that says snitcher, because remember, snitches get stitches.
Oh, this is
I
spooky,
really love
spooky
this
hallway.
music.
I just honestly get lost in the visuals of this game quite a bit, so I'll go quiet just like looking at them because the art styles are so fantastic.
That is completely fine. Right, in this room, you can save a little bit of time. You don't have to walk all the way to the end. Just walk past that third chair and double back. By the time you get back to the door, you should be able to go straight through.
Good pivot there.
Yeah.
A lot of runway practice there.
Right, now we're going to go left, and we're going to go into the first door that we see. And then we're immediately going to leave, and that will take us out of this this grey world that we're in right now. Alright, so if we go all the way to the left, we're going to go into another classroom, and we have another neat little light puzzle. I got a little bit confused on it the first time I played it, but it's actually very, very simple.
A lot of these puzzles are, you'll probably go in there overthinking it, thinking it's going to be far more difficult or something than you would realize, but they're actually very simple.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to turn on that light, so turn that light on, sorry. And then you want to swap places, turn this light, swap back to that ray, turn this light back off, and then Shadow Ray should be able to get right to the end, right where we need her, where we can talk to her, and she's going to ask us our third question. And as she's basically saying, you've been taught to take fate into your own hands. What ideas do you hold? Now, I'm going to pick submit to fate. And again,
That's always a good idea.
that's wrong. And that's what we want. Right, now we're going to go out the front door here. Excuse me.
From what you
And
can
we're going
tell,
to see
like,
a very important cutscene. So if you remember from the beginning of the game, this is Instructor Bai. He was the one who came to the classroom and said, Miss Yin, do you know anything about this book list? And here we're going to see Ray giving him that book list. So she essentially ratted out Miss Yin and screwed over her friend because she was jealous over Mr. Chang's affections. So we're going to speak to her, and she's going to ask us our final question. And she's going to say that you've lost everything. What now? And I'm going to say, calm indifference, which is wrong.
You can kind of tell since that was the final question you said, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so since this is the bad ending, if you can kind of see from what's going on with the story, all the bad ending questions are her still being in denial a bit.
Yeah, that's what this whole game is really about. It's about her soul being trapped in an infinite loop until she accepts what she did, accepts her guilt, and admits to it, really. Because really, she's just lying to herself. If we go up to the roof, we're going to see a nice older Wei. But he's not going to speak to us. Okay, so now we're going to the final descent. Excuse me. And we're going to speak to Ghost Ray a couple of times. So you just want to click on her, click on the stairs, sort of line up your mouse to where she's going to be. Click again.
Really, really technical right now.
Oh, it's incredibly technical.
This is probably the hardest tech in the entire game.
All right, and then we're just going to go to the right and talk to Ray one last time. And she's going to say that line again. I am you, yet you are not me. Basically because Ray will not admit her guilt. And she doesn't see what she did, and she didn't see how it affected everyone else. So in a minute, we're going to... Actually, now I can tell you what happened to all these characters because of Ray. So Wei, he was actually sent to prison for a very, very long time until he was pardoned. Miss Yin had to go into hiding. And Mr. Chang was shot. So the one person that she did all this for was immediately killed because of her actions, because he refused to speak, he refused to give in. And yeah, so she got all of these people, she kind of screwed up their lives just a little bit.
Not to mention everyone else in the book club who probably also...
Yeah, exactly.
Was there about like 8 people that they showed earlier that kind of got arrested for it?
So it sort of shows Ray's selfishness, but also her naivety, because you have to remember, she is 17 years old.
Yeah, she's still a child.
Yeah, exactly. But Ray actually received a medal for her service to her country for ratting out the book club. But unfortunately, as I said earlier, snitches get stitches, and no one wanted to speak to her after that. She was very much... she was very much on her own. Also, this is a very strange-looking medal, I must say. So we're going to take this, and slowly but surely everyone's going to leave her. And we're going to put the medal around her neck, and that is Detention. Very sad, but very beautiful game.
Yeah, it's kind of very depressing.
By the way. Sorry.
It's a very depressing game, but in a way it's just, I think it's a very good game to experience. It's a great narrative, great experience all the way through.
Yeah, I honestly can't recommend this enough. Like I said, I played this for the first time at the beginning of the year. It immediately became one of my favorite games of all time, and anytime someone's asked for a game recommendation, first thing I say, Detention, 100%. And it's very cheap as well, so pick it up. Do as you're told.
I think there actually is a horror sale on Steam right now as well.
And it's in the current Humble Bundle, I think, as well. If you pay for the average, I'm not too sure if it's still ongoing, but it makes me sad that their follow-up to this game you can't really get as easily anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was pulled from Steam for reasons.
That being said, though, Obrogano, where can we find you here on Twitch or elsewhere?
You can just find me, Obrogano, on everything. Those are letters of O, not numbers. But yeah.
All right. As well, any Discord or anything else you'd like to plug while we have you here?
No, just follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter if you want to. I post weird stuff on Twitter.
I know that feeling all too well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, I want to thank you both for being here. It was definitely a fun time going through Detention together, as we can see here.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you
letting
so much
me
for having us.
show the game. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you both for being here. And that being said, for the rest of everyone else, Detention's a lot more wild than I remember as a kid. Definitely a lot more, you know, graphic and all
Are you
that.
saying that you got detention as a child? Ooh.
I've had my... No, I didn't.
I was a good kid. I never got in detention.
Yeah, me
but going
neither.
onward, we'll be carrying on with the rest of the show with some pretty good
boo.
games. Up next will be Carry On, which will be done by Mr. Teddy Ross, who is a great runner, as well as another couple of announcements. I'll be going over to an ad briefly. However, you can avoid that ad by subscribing to the Games Done Quick channel here. Any subscription and bits helps the channel keep going, and it's much appreciated. As well as another announcement, the games list for AGDQ 2021 Online is currently up. So if you want to take a look at that, it's on the website. That being said, thank you again, Brogano, and
Thank you.
Kyo.
Thank you.
And,
Bye.
yeah.
Bye,
Happy
everyone.
Halloween.